You can describe your patterns with real clarity. Often, while they're happening, you know exactly what's going on, and it's still not changing. I'm Jeannie. I work with adults who have ADHD, autism, or both. And something I see with clients that I work with is that they've done a lot of work on themselves. They understand their patterns, but they just can't seem to make changes stick. This is real self-awareness, and it can also be genuinely frustrating because from the outside, it can look like you're not trying. And from the inside, you know exactly how hard you've been trying and you don't feel good about it. Here's what's happening. Insight into what's going on and execution and making change are different skills. They use different parts of the brain, require different conditions, and don't automatically build on each other. Knowing why you do something doesn't create the ability to do it differently. Understanding the pattern doesn't interrupt it. Here's a concrete way to think about it. Someone can genuinely understand completely that task initiation is genuinely harder for their brain than it is for most people. They can know this clearly, explain it, have real compassion for themselves. But when the task is sitting there and nothing is firing, that understanding about yourself does not create the conditions to get started. The researcher, Russell Barkley, has a line for this. He says, ADHD isn't a disorder of knowing what to do. It's a disorder of doing what you know. So the part where you get stuck is in the doing, not in the knowing what to do. So what helps on the doing side is more practical. Reduce the friction, create a clear first action step, create a structure that makes the easiest path point toward the work instead of toward procrastination. Therapy is good at building self-understanding, at helping you see where patterns come from, how they've shaped your life. That work matters, and I'm not dismissing it. A lot of my clients are still in therapy, and they should be, and I recommend it. But insight-oriented work generally doesn't help to solve how do I get moving on this. So that's a different lane, and that's the lane that I work in. So we build those conditions for your brain, your life, your actual week. And then I tell every client the same thing because nobody warns you about this. It's going to slip. Every system you build will eventually hit a rough week. So the strategy that was working suddenly kind of stops working, and here's where people often quit. They see this slip and they give a verdict about themselves and they say, see, this doesn't work either. I just can't make these things work. So they throw out something that was mostly fine and then move on and go hunting for the next system. What I'm actually teaching isn't the perfect system. Yes, we will build a system that works for you and your life, but we also develop the loop you run when the system slips. You notice it. You look at the whole thing calmly without the shame spiral eating you first. You find the one small thing that needs to change for the week that you are actually in, and you reset. It's almost never a rebuild. It's a review, a small adjustment, and a calm restart. That restart is important. When something slips and you're already fried, the slip feels like more proof that it's all about you and you're the problem. Staying regulated enough to just look at it is a skill we practice. So what sticks isn't the system, it's your ability to stay fluid with one. That what keeps working for years through every hard week, long after any single strategy has been retired or redesigned or rebuilt. If you are in this gap between understanding yourself and making the strategy stick, I want to hear from you in the comments. What's the strategy that worked for you right up until it didn't? Tell me what it was and what happened. And if this is where you are, I write a free weekly newsletter for adults with ADHD and autism who are past the insight stage and ready for what comes next. The link is in the description, or subscribe if you want to keep up with me here. Take care.